And then you come to me and you say, I'm sorry, I was just mad at the No. Even when you're mad, you need to learn how to control your mouth. I've seen this way too many times where it's like the wife speaks to the husband as if they were a child.
Especially in public.
Yeah. It's like they have this general vision of what all men are like and what all women are like. And I get it. I guess there's a big majority that behave in that manner. And I get it because I see it. But it's like, you don't get it.
Yeah, I'm like, no, I can't relate.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Elevate. My name is Jessica.
My name is Darwin.
Welcome to episode 76.
Let's get it. 24 away from 100. Yep, I'm going to count it down.
Yes, I have my jacket on. It is freezing in here.
Like Mariah says, it's time. It was a fun weekend. Is Saturday. Yesterday, because yesterday was so eventful on a Friday.
Yes, we had our first creator meetup here at the studio.
Creative, not solely creatives. It was
Also brands.
Brand owners and entrepreneurs.
Yes, it was very nice meeting everyone that came. We made some nice connections with people, and the feedback we got from everybody who came was very nice. Everybody seemed to have enjoyed the event. So many more to come. I'm sure this won't be the last one.
And it's interesting because we kind of have that idea in the beginning stages, like, you know, we would love to have host events.
Like we've spoken about it in previous podcasts where we wanted to make this space a creator hub, kind of, you know, have the creators on our community feel welcomed. So it was very nice to see it, you know, happen last night. It gave me that feeling of when we first opened up and we did the grand opening.
Yeah.
But on a much better scale because people were actually networking. Like, I was a little afraid that people were going to just kind of stay to themselves because it was a very small event. Like, we are very limited on the amount of people that we can have here at once. So it wasn't a huge event. It was
like 20, 25 people.
Right. But, you know, sometimes, you know, when people come by themselves to an event, you know, sometimes it's hard for people to like break the ice if they don't know everybody who's in the room. But to our surprise, everybody was very friendly and they really came to network.
Yeah.
So that was
cool.
great.
I spoke on the stage.
You did.
On the stage
You were a public speaker last night. Okay. That's a step forward.
Checking shit off.
I can really see you doing that. I think that is just a matter of you getting used to that.
Yeah.
Just feeling comfortable doing it. But I can really see you doing that.
I was telling Brian, I think that we can do it because it was me and Brian talking. And the way I told him was like, the more we continue to grow and just do the thing, then if we're talking about the thing, then it shouldn't be a problem because we have the results to prove it.
Yeah, like you're talking about things that you're living through.
Yeah.
It's not.
Which we were talking about social media, which is what we do.
Right.
But, you know, the more we focus on it, the more we can actually, you know, get better at speaking and answering questions and all that. But it was pretty good.
Yes. So I wanted to dive in. You know, we're going to move away from business. We've been talking about business in our past couple of podcasts and entrepreneurship and, you know, influencing and all that stuff. But because we were having this conversation, we briefly touched on it, you know, in our last episode, which was we spoke about many different topics, the importance of choosing your husband and wife, like the importance of who you choose to have that role and how it can either break you or make you better.
Yeah.
I think it's very important that people understand, like, why is it so important? I mean, obviously, if you are planning to be with this person for a very long time, I think you would want to be with someone who's like reliable, you know, someone you can count on, someone who has good qualities to be a team member in your family who acts as such, you know, not just someone who takes up space in your house. And I want to talk on like my experience, right? Because people see us, right? And they see how we treat each other. And we often, especially on TikTok, sometimes on Instagram, but more on TikTok, we get a lot of comments of people, you know, just admiring our relationship, right? And we're not perfect, but for me, we are as perfect as we can get. Like, for me, I'm completely satisfied with the way we treat each other, the way we feel about each other. It's been about how long now?
37 years.
We've been together since 2011.
Yeah.
Living together, but we met each other way before that. We met each other as teens. If you've been here, you know we met each other when we were 16. And it wasn't like smooth sailing from the point that we were 16, but we've known each other since then.
Yeah.
And we started living together in 2011. And we've never felt what people usually say you feel when you've been married with someone for way too long. Right? Like, usually people say after 5-10 years, you get bored. You know, that person is like, it becomes a routine. But for us, I guess we've managed to keep everything very, very interesting, even though we're not like traveling the world.
We was actually talking about that at home the other day. That was like, most people say, oh, at 5 years, you guys, that's a real test. Like, that's when you start getting tired of each other. And was like, bro,
Some people
our
say
5
10.
years, no, but like our 5 years have been probably like our most difficult, but not like in relationship wise. Just like, you know, we was dealing with the finances stuff and all
just
that. And we
getting
was
our
like
lives together.
so on board. Like, we wasn't traveling and doing none of that. So I'm like, bro, when we start traveling, it's lit. It's really going to be lit.
For real. That's how I feel. I feel like, wow, like this whole time we've always just been trying to like elevate our life, you know, trying to, you know, be more comfortable in life, you know, having a better job, doing entrepreneurship, opening a business. All these years, we've just been scaling and trying to be better people every year, better in our lives, better giving our kids our better life. So I can just, it can't get worse because it's like at this point, you know, if we elevate even more and hopefully we are better off financially in the future years, it should get more fun.
Yeah.
So I feel like we've passed the test of like the hardship. I mean, I'm not saying that hard times may not come, but we've had hard times. Like we've experienced hard times together, and that hasn't broken us up. If anything, we come together even more and like we try to figure it out. But it's always been that way with us. I've always seen you as a person who strives for better all the time. Even when we were really young, I saw how ambitious you were to having a better future. And I always felt the same way. And I think that's what attracted both of us to each other.
Yeah.
And so that's why I say it's important to know, like when you're with someone, when you're meeting them, you need to have the hard conversations, because you need to know where this person stands, where they want to go, where they're trying to go in life. And if they're someone who's just very comfortable in having the bare minimum, or someone who's trying to like constantly elevate their life.
Yeah. No,
and you need to be on board
and
with
even
that.
like even if both of the couples want to have like are fine with the bare minimum, like then make the bare minimum as fun as possible. Like, so it's not just, so you don't feel like, damn, I got the bare minimum, but I'm not really happy. Like, make the bare minimum happiness.
I understand what you're saying. Like, you have to make the best of what you have, but you both have to be that way. That's the thing. You can't have one person who's over here trying to like have their own business and like travel the whole world, and then the other one is like, nah, I'm good, I'm staying home and I'm watching TV all the time. That's what makes me happy. Like, you have to make sure that your goals and your way of living your life align.
Yeah.
If you're a person who likes to going out all the time, it might not work out with someone who is a homebody and just likes to be home. Like, sometimes, I don't know, maybe some relationships, they make it work, you know, where the one person just stays home and the other person's like always going out. But I feel like there's that chance that at some point that person is going to get boring for you. because there's this video which I want to play.
You need to spend 90 minutes a week with your partner talking. And that means you're telling each other about your life and staying in touch, so that you each know what the other is up to. And you're discussing what needs to be done to keep the household running smoothly. And you're laying out some mutually acceptable vision of how the next week or the next months are going to go together, right? So that keeps your narratives locked together like the strands in a rope. You need that for 90 minutes or you drift apart. And you need to spend intimate time together at least once a week, and probably more like twice. And that has to be negotiated. And if you don't negotiate it, and if you don't make it a priority, then it won't happen in all likelihood. And that's a catastrophe, because there's not that many things in life that are, intrinsically, what would you say, engaging and meaningful and pleasurable, and also bonding, all of that. And if you let that go, then, well, part of you dies and part of the relationship dies. And well, then there's always the possibility of becoming attracted by alternative entanglements, which you would do if you had any spirit left.
Now, when I saw that video, 90 minutes a week.
I was like, when I heard, I was like, 90 minutes a week? I'll give you 90 minutes a day. Damn, I talk too much.
So to me, what he's saying, that's like giving your partner the bare minimum. And if that works for you, great.
Yeah.
Right? But that is the bare minimum that a psychologist is saying the attention you should be giving to your partner.
90 minutes a week?
90 minutes.
That's an hour and a half.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's wild. That's wild.
That is insane to me. Like, honestly, if you gave me 90 minutes a week, I would be divorced right now.
we spoke 90 minutes about the event last night. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning. We still going at it.
But the point that he was also trying to make is you need to stay connected with your partner. Mm-hmm. You need to have things to talk about. You need to come home and be comfortable with telling your partner, like, oh my God, you don't know what happened to me at work. And, and them telling you whatever it is. Maybe it doesn't have to be about work, but just something that keeps you connected. Yeah. Like, what are we going to do this weekend with the kids? Plan something out for the weekend, or maybe you can't be going out because things are tough financially in your home. But, hey, we need to clear out the closets because, wintertime is coming. Like this weekend, let's take out an hour to like do that together. Yeah. It's just feeling like you're part of the same family, because this is what happens with a lot of families and, husbands and wives. They get married. At the beginning, everything is, all lovey-dovey because everything is brand new. All the feelings are brand new and you're happy and you want to do everything with this person because everything is new. Yeah. And then time goes on and it becomes old news and you start drifting apart. Instead of, like a relationship and love, marriage is work. Yeah. And I hate to say it that way because it shouldn't feel like work. If you love the person that you're with, spending time with them and, making sure you're bonding with them shouldn't feel like work.
I mean, it could feel work, but not like I work a job I hate. Like working, like I work. I work every day. I say it's work. I'm fine.
I say it's work because you need to, sometimes it happens to all of us where, you have a day or two where you're just in a funk and maybe you've stood home all day but your partner is outside working and maybe you've been like, I don't know, too entertained with some show on Netflix or maybe Instagram or Facebook, whatever. And you're just very in the zone by yourself, isolated, right? Yeah. And you kind of lose contact with your person. And I'm not saying you can't have that because I do it all the time. Yeah. But there comes a time where it's like after a day or maybe two, that I'm like, okay, I haven't really been socializing like I should with like Darwin or the kids, or I need to get back into being more present. Yeah. Because let's be honest, like we all need sometimes some downtime to ourselves where we just feel like we can just relax, right? And we don't have to meet any expectations. But you can't do that for months or weeks if you have a family and you care for them. You can't do that. It's not sustainable. It's not going to be good for you. And you don't want too much time to go by and for you to then say, regret, just letting everything go that's important to you. So, another point I want to make is I'm the type of person that when I go out, my personality is I like to get ready. I like to get dolled up. I usually have like makeup on, lipstick. it's part of my personality. But a lot of moms, you know, they feel like they can't do that once they have kids and once they have a family. And the reason is because they usually don't have help at home.
Yeah.
And for me, like, I'm lucky to say that, like, every task in the house isn't just my task.
Yeah.
Like, I can proudly say that, you know, I can go take a shower, I get out, and I start getting ready. And if I tell you, babe, like, can you help me out with Zena? Like, it's not like me dressing Zena or Armani. Armani is already big. He dresses himself. But Zena, who's our youngest child, is not like I'm the only one in the house that knows how to do that. You do that perfectly.
Yeah.
And I don't feel the pressure of having to not take care of myself because now I'm a mom and I have to always be taking care of my kids, and now I don't have time for myself. I have the pleasure of saying that you give me that time.
I mean, because I also understand, I don't know, like, I guess some men just feel like, oh, it's not my responsibility. Like, it's the responsibility of a woman. But I don't feel that way. I just feel like, okay, sometimes I wake up and we didn't do the dishes in the nighttime, and like it's there, and I'm like, all right, you usually sleep later than me, and I'm just there. Like, I drink my coffee and I do the dishes. And you wake up and the dishes are done. Like, so I'm like, okay, now she just gets ready and her day is, she can make breakfast or something.
But no woman, in my opinion, or no man should feel like there's a certain house chore unless you, like, I don't know, came to an agreement like, this is what I do and this is what you do, and you guys are both okay with that. In our household, we kind of feel like this is our household, not my household. You know, all the cleaning, I do it a lot of the times, like the deeper cleaning, but there's also times where we're all doing it at the same time. It's not really my responsibility to do that. It is our responsibility to do that.
Even when it comes to like the finances, like, you know how there's people like, oh no, I'll never combine my finances. Like, what's mine is mine, it's what hers is hers, which is fine. But I feel like that, like, we've done that since we got married. That has alleviated so much like stress, because it's like, bro, we live in the same household. Like, we have the same bills, the same rent. Like, whatever is in the account was in the account, period. Like, there's no need for me to ask you how much you got.
If I had trust issues with money, with you, I wouldn't have married you.
Yeah.
For me, there's nothing more intimate that I've done with you than be intimate with you and have my kids with you. To then say I can't share my finances with you. For me personally, you think what you want to think, but for me that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Now, I understand that some people like to keep it separate because, you know, they like to have their own money. They both work, you know, and maybe the woman or and let's be very clear. I'm talking about healthy marriages, healthy relationships. I'm not talking about abusive relationships, because a lot of people like to jump in the comments and say really quickly, oh, that doesn't apply when you're in abuse. I'm not talking about abusive relationships. I'm talking about healthy relationships. If you have a healthy relationship, you should not feel threatened by sharing your finances with your spouse.
For sure.
It just doesn't make sense. And I mean, I guess life isn't perfect. Life isn't perfect for us either, but, you know, we try to make the best of everything. And just for me, my personal opinion is, if you can't trust your spouse with your finances, there's something wrong there. There's something wrong that you need to work on.
There's also times that we're like in certain rooms and people are talking and they'll be like, oh, you know, men, or like, you know, women. I'm like, no, I don't know. Like, we're on the same page pretty much with everything we do.
Yeah.
But they try to make it like, you know what I mean? I'm like, nah, I don't know what you mean.
Yeah. It's like they have this general vision of what all men are like and what all women are like. And I get it. I guess there's a big majority that behave in that manner. And I get it because I see it. But it's like, you don't get it.
Yeah, I'm like, no,
because
I can't
that's
relate.
not the way you are. And that's the way you've never been. And I think part of it, people need to realize I'm very straightforward and stern about my ways. So from the very beginning, I knew what I wanted. In my family, I knew what kind of man I wanted to be with, and I was very straightforward. So there was no guessing game with us. We knew you knew what kind of man I was looking for, and I knew what kind of woman you were looking for. There was no guessing game. So it's always been like that with us. We're just transparent. We help each other out. There's nothing that I can't go to my husband for, and nothing he can't come to me for. That's just the way we've operated.
What we preach always, like communication. And we know when we're not communicating right.
Yeah. And the reason why I say, like, it's important, who you choose as your partner is important, because if you're an ambitious person and you're with someone who's always stepping on your toes and always trying to bring you down, a very insecure person, you can rest assured that for as long as you're with that person, you're not going to be able to grow.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to do what you would like to do, especially if you have children with this person. It's not going to get any better. And we need to stop thinking that we're going to get with someone, and because, we start having very strong feelings with this person, maybe if I stay with this person long enough, they're going to change for me. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's personality, issues that person isn't going to resolve just for you. That's just who they are. And you can't put that responsibility on you to change that person. Yeah. It's like unrealistic.
No, and another thing is, like, some woman will say, oh yeah, my man is just not like that. Like, I will say, like, try to communicate, like, not argue with the man about, like, what you want or things that you want to change. And maybe he does change. Like, maybe he is that, but he doesn't know, like, oh, you like these things to be done this way.
Yeah.
Because if you don't tell him, then of course he's not gonna be the man you want, because he don't know what to him it's just like, okay, we're still married this year.
You're right about that, because I guess, like, the same way that people may make their remarks in regards to, like, all men, all men. Mm-hmm. There's women who just think, oh no, that's just men behavior, mm-hmm. so they won't communicate what's actually bothering them, because for them that person is never going to change or modify whatever it is that is bothering them.
Yeah. And it's vice versa, like. Because, like, if you tell me something and I didn't like the way you said it, like, I'll tell you, like, no, next time tell me it like this so I don't feel like you're arguing with me.
That's a great point. That's something that I wanted to talk about. Thank you for bringing that up.
All right.
It's very important. How you say things to your spouse is more than half of the battle.
Yeah.
How you say things matter more than what you're actually saying.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to speak for us women, because I'm one. We tend to be very emotional and very dramatic sometimes, right? We can be very, like, if we're upset about something, we can come off very mean, very, like, with a strong attitude, like we're rolling our eyes immediately and we're just like, ugh, like, But we have to try and be emotionally intelligent women. Because the same way we don't want our husbands to talk to us in a very demeaning or, like, condescending tone, the same way they don't want us talking to them in a condescending tone. At the end of the day, men want to feel like they're the protectors, they're the providers. They want to feel in control. And they should be the providers, in my opinion. They should be the head of the house. They should feel like the head of the household. They should feel like, the one who protects their family. But us as women, we have wisdom a lot of the times in marriage. And we know what's best for our family and what's not so good. And sometimes the men can't see that aspect, but we can. And so when we see a man, let's say, doing something that they're not supposed to be doing, or, just messing something up, and we want to, just lash out at them, it's important that we're not lashing out at them and making them feel like they're dumb, they're stupid, you don't know what you're doing. Like, it's important for our tone to not be a condescending tone. Yeah. Because that is not going to resolve anything. Would you listen to someone who's speaking to you in a condescending tone? No, you can't focus on what they're saying when they're talking to you in a bad tone. All you hear is them talking to you like you're dumb.
It's like, and you want your boss.
And you just want to respond back. You're not even listening to understand. You're listening to respond. Because at that point, you're just aggravated that they spoke to you like you were a child. And so a lot of women, a lot of us tend to talk to our men like they're kids. I have been, I don't want to be too specific, but I've seen this way too many times where it's like the wife speaks to the husband as if they were a child.
Especially in public, like that is the worst. I mean, it's definitely never happened to me, but like I see it. Like you could be in a group and like the wife is
talking down
on the husband, and then like the husband will go and do what they do and then be like, this man don't listen. It's like, bro, like you making him look like shit in front of everybody.
It's disrespectful. It's disrespectful. And you might be right. As the woman, you might be right. You might have all the points. I'm not saying you don't. You might have all the points. But the appropriate way to go about it is to, when you get home, when you're in a private setting with your husband, say, you know what? I really think that, such and such situation should be handled differently because of such and such. Privately. Make them
a car ride home.
Right. And even when you're in private, do not talk to them like they're a child. Do not talk down on them. I don't like when people do that to me. I definitely would not like if Darwin spoke that way to me. I've never felt that way. Darwin has never screamed at me. He's never cursed at me. We do not communicate like that, even if we're mad at each other. The most we could do if we're mad at each other is not talk to each other. Like, we will literally ignore each other. That's the most we've done.
Facts. It'll be like 2 days and be like, so you plan on talking to me again? It's mad rare though,
but that's it. But and again, that's part of why I feel like we have such a good connection and a good relationship, and we've sustained it the test of time, because we've never disrespected ourselves in any way. And there might be things that, you do that I might not be okay with, but, I try to come to you in a good tone, maybe when I'm more calm. And it's not to say that I haven't done this in the past, because, we've been together from way too young for me to say that I've never done this in my life. Like, I definitely do my fair share of eye rolls. And that's one thing that I have a very hard time controlling, because I do it very unconsciously.
It says automatic.
I don't really mean to. It's just my face.
See, she just did it.
It's just my face. It's just like a habit. But I definitely can say, like, in our early time or relationship, maybe we're like, Armani was born, he's already 10, so maybe like 10 years ago. And I'll tell her, because
sometimes like she'll say something and like walk away and roll her eyes. I'm like, why you running? And she's like, I roll my eyes. I'm like, yeah. And that made whatever you just said like worse. Because it looked like you had an attitude. And she's like, nah, I didn't. I'm like, but you rolled your eyes. So it defeated everything you said was disregarded by the roll of your eyes.
It's just a bad habit. But at this point, I think that when I do it, I don't really mean like wrong. It's just my face. I need to fix my face. But I
wonder if you say like the people that didn't like you, maybe it was because of that. Like, you'll talk.
Imagine. Oh my God, I don't know. Maybe I had somewhat of a
be like,
bee face.
Hi.
Oh my God. But anyways, yeah. Women, we have so much control over how we want our households to be ran, over how we want the mood to be in our home. Like, we have so much power over our men too, even if they don't want to admit it sometimes, right?
She the boss. I'm the boss, but she the boss.
So it's just a matter of knowing how to approach every situation so that your message comes out across in a loving manner and not in a way that you're like trying to control them. A lot of men don't like to feel controlled.
Only during sexy time.
What? What did you say?
Oh, you don't got headphones on. I said only during.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like, men don't like to feel controlled, but at the same time, when you have a family, you guys are a team, and the man should respect your input as much as you should respect theirs. But again, we need to control the way we think, the things we say. We need to control our mouths, our tongue. The power of our tongue is way too powerful. And a lot of us women, we destroy our families with our tongue. Just the things we say, you know, we have nasty mouths. We just cursing at our spouse. We're just acting in such a low manner, such low frequency, like energy. The energy you put out, you will get back.
Facts. And that thing about like cursing to each other is just nasty. Like a nasty.
It's unproductive. What does that solve? Nothing at all, but take away respect from your partner.
Yeah, as a totally new level of disrespect.
And a lot of people might say, oh, but it's just a word. Like, no, words have meaning. I'm sorry. Words aren't just words. Words have meaning. And they stick with your partner whenever you say those things. It might be, you know, in an argument, whatever. But you know what? When the way that I know a person actually loves me is when the hard times come. When we're mad at each other. And, you know, we're mad and now you're calling me a B, you're calling me a this, you're calling me a that. And then you come to me and you say, I'm sorry, I was just mad at the No. Even when you're mad, you need to learn how to control your mouth. You need to not hurt the people that you love. When you're mad and in bad situations is when you know who truly loves you.
Facts.
Even in relationships, I feel, even with friends, like you would know who your actual friends are in bad times.
Yeah. Definitely.
Who sticks around, who calls you, who sees how you're doing, who texts you. There's friends who, if you don't text them, if you stop texting them today, you'll never know about them again. And so bad times, you know, reveal in friendships, in relationships, who's really there for you, who really loves you for real. I could be so mad at you and I just won't do anything. I won't do anything that will harm you long term. Mm-hmm. Like nothing. I can stop talking to you. I can maybe, I don't know, close the door behind me or something, you know, like do some petty shit like that. But I will never do anything that will hurt you deeply.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I love you. I really care for how you feel, for how you are emotionally. So I just, yeah.
Good episode. Hopefully people take it in.
So it's important who you choose as your wife, as your husband. Think about the life that you want to live before you decide to marry someone. Think about the type of father, the type of mother that they would be for your family. Don't bring children to this world with people that you're not even sure about. You know, like, I get it. Sometimes things happen and people sometimes can be sometimes people can be very deceiving, and, you know, it can happen. But a lot of the times there's way too many red flags. There's way too many red flags for you to decide to have a family with someone that you know does not fit your world.
And it's also like, if you're already married, like, you can fix whatever is going on. And it's not something that you fix like, oh, like, effective tomorrow, like, we're good. Like, just fix it little by little. Like, always work on it.
You're saying not to give up if you're married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, because some people are just like, yeah, my marriage is already like this. Like, it's no, like, nah. Like, if you actually just work on it, like on anything in life, like, you work on it hard enough and you will get to exactly what you want. It's
Absolutely.
like, because you'll start learning new things about each other and like, oh, damn, we used to do this. Remember when we used to act like this and this is so much better?
Absolutely.
So,
I think
again, if you want it to work.
Yeah. I think that's something that this generation struggles with a lot. Like, we feel like we have so much options, you know, that, you know, we're very quick to give up on our relationships. And sometimes, you know, there's things that are not worth giving up for.
And there are things that
and there are
worth
things, right?
giving up.
For me, disloyalty, like cheating, having a kid with another person while you're in a serious relationship are things that, you know, are very serious. And I don't feel like any woman should feel like they have to stay with this man because they're married or something. If a person cheats on you to that extent, those are grounds to divorce a person.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's things that are just much more, you know, insignificant, you know, things that you can actually work through and just have better communication and whatever. If you need to go to therapy, go to therapy. But sometimes we think that the grass is greener on the other side. And listen, I've seen some people do some very terrible, terrible decisions, make some very terrible decisions and go out there, you know, find a new person thinking that this other person was way better than the one they had before and
Start a whole life.
and find themselves in such a mess because they thought that the grass was greener on the other side. Sometimes the grass is greener where you water it.
Work on that relationship.
The grass is greener where you water it.
Except for these grasses, they're fake.
Okay.
These plants. Yeah.
Anyways.
Just wanted to end in a happy tone. That's it for episode 76.
All right, that's it for today's episode, you guys. Thank you so much for watching or listening. My daughter's on the background like
excited that this is over.
Yeah. That's it for today's episode, you guys. Thank you so much for watching or listening. If you're here on YouTube, don't forget to hit the like button. If you've enjoyed this episode, leave us your comments down below. Hit the bell so you can be notified every time we post a video. And for all those of you who are listening on our audio platforms, don't forget to leave us your reviews. It really helps us out. That's it for today's podcast, you guys. Thank you so much for watching or listening. Until next time. Oh, we have a live audience.
Peace.